Hey, what's up everyone? Today we'll be doing a review on the TOPBOXER Win1 gloves. Now, I'll dive right into it. Do I believe that you should spend your hard-earned money on these gloves? No. So let me explain why. So these gloves initially caught my attention because they look like a decent winning clone. So many people, myself included, don't want to spend the money on some winning gloves, especially if you're not, a professional, somebody who's going to be using them consistently, day in, day out, especially for sparring. I mean, that's the main point of those gloves is people use them for sparring. It provides protection to you and your sparring partner. And honestly, they just look cool. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that, but they're just the simplicity of them. They just look really cool to me. The shape, they look comfortable, they look just quality, and from many of the reviews of people who actually own them, they believe the same things. So that leads us to try and find cheaper alternatives. How can we get that kind of experience for less money, right? For us average Joes. So yeah, they caught my eye. I like the clean, white look of these. But let's start talking about, do they actually hold up to the looks, right? Whenever you put on these gloves, does it feel like that quality? Is it as comfortable as you would want them to be? And my answer is no, and I'll tell you some of the things that I have problems with. So one thing is that the thumb isn't really comfortable. So where it has the thumb liner, kind of, so to speak, I feel like that's too far to the outside, and it really pinches on the start of your thumb. Another thing that you can feel is, what I look for in wearing a glove is how comfortable, the fingertips are. I guess, I don't know what to call it, but this little compartment here. So if you can see kind of that liner right there, that part right there is also kind of hard and pinches on your fingers. So just based on those, the hand ergonomics aren't really the best. Another thing that I think is annoying is the wrist. So maybe on camera that looks like a good wrist, that's how it should be. And maybe from this angle, that looks a lot like a winning glove, maybe you might be thinking. But this wrist is just heavily padded and it's stiff. So you may be thinking oh, that's good, that means it has really good wrist protection. But I think they overdid the wrist protection. Let me know in the comments if this makes sense to you, if you agree, disagree. But I think that there comes a point where wrist protection is too much, where it becomes too stiff, and it feels it just feels blocky right here. It doesn't feel, great. And maybe that's a good thing for people who are beginners, who are more susceptible to hurting their wrist, right? But as you get more experience, that feeling of heaviness in your wrist isn't really attractive. It's just something that you don't really want, at least I don't want. So I think I would have to knock it for that. So in addition to the blockiness in the wrist, let's talk about, kind of the liner and how it feels on the inside. So right now I just had my hand in there for a little bit, but it's already kind of sweaty. I mean, you could use that for a lot of gloves, but just trust me when I say that these gloves do not breathe well. You have these holes, and that's kind of their intention, is to allow more air to come in and for your hand to not feel as cramped and sweaty. But with all the padding in this glove, and I don't know if it has anything to do with the liner as well, I think it's just the padding, all the padding in this glove, it really, it just makes your hand feel hot over time. I know that's something that people mention in gloves, and it's something that they look out for, because you're doing many rounds in these, especially if you're wearing wraps and stuff. It's going to be really just hot and kind of uncomfortable, which is kind of ironic because everything I'm mentioning so far, this glove is supposed to be designed for comfort and for protection and for, well, I can't say that protection is bad, so let me correct myself on that. Protection is good, but I think it's overprotected to where you don't get that experience and feedback that you're looking for. So at least for me, whenever I'm hitting the bag, using these gloves, I want to have a feedback from the bag. I want to, when you land with good technique, those crisp shots, and it makes that, you just dig into the bag in a way, like nice body shots on the bag. It makes that sound, that crisp sound, and has that feedback to where you landed that shot properly with good power. All that power went through your front two knuckles. And that's part of the boxing experience. That's part of the workout experience. That's what makes it so enjoyable, is when you've learned that technique and you practice it over and over again. But with these, it kind of like deadens that in a way. You could be landing perfectly well, but it almost, people say that winning is like pillowy and all that kind of stuff. And again, I've never had a pair of winning gloves. I don't know exactly what it's like, but I can't imagine that so many people like to use them and it feels like this whenever you hit the heavy bag. Maybe I'm ignorant to that fact because I've never had winning gloves, but I just can't imagine it because these kind of really take out a lot of the soul, I guess, of hitting the heavy bag and having a good workout. So yeah, all in all, I mean, for a beginner or, somebody that's not kind of taking it too seriously, but wants a decent looking pair of gloves, because most of those gloves that are like sub 100, maybe you can get some deals on Everlast when they have a promo code on like some power locks or something like that. Those are a decent option that I'll probably recommend, but most of those gloves look cheesy, look stupid. And at the beginning of this review, I mentioned that I like the simplicity of a glove like this, of a winning glove, right? I like that simplicity. Others may disagree. They like the fancy, maybe like Grant gloves and stuff, but to each their own. But yeah, I think that you can find better gloves. Not necessarily, even at the price point, I think you can find better gloves, but let's say that you're willing to spend $50 more, maybe even $100 more. I think it would probably be worth it, in comparison to these gloves. For that 50 to $100 more, if you're not willing to do anything that's already in this like $100 price point, then you'd be stepping into some gloves that you'll enjoy for a while. They'll really just mold to your hands and you'll enjoy them for a while. They'll have good quality, and that's the whole point of getting gloves and being excited about boxing, is enjoying your workouts and stuff. So yeah, all in all, I don't recommend these. They're a decent glove, just depending on the person, but for me, I wouldn't recommend them if you're a pretty serious person in boxing. You really enjoy your workouts. I wouldn't recommend these. So, all right. Well, if you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll be putting out more reviews. I have some past reviews if you want to check those out. Really trying to get this channel going. Trying to dedicate a little bit more of my time into it. So I just really appreciate the support. All right, man. I'll take care.